Hey, Third Stop friends, my name is Doug. Welcome to the channel. It's a channel about the restoration of a 1966 Volkswagen Beetle convertible named Hendrik. Today we're working on deck lids. You can see a couple deck lids down behind me over there, and one of them is gonna end up on the Beetle. Both of them are not in great condition, so we're gonna try to meld the two of them together to make one good deck lid. Let's see what we have to do to make that happen. Thanks for following along. If you haven't, please click subscribe, comments or questions below. Have a great day. All right, the deck lid on my left is the one that was on the Beetle, and it had a fantastic Bondo job on it. You can see that it's about as dimpled as a golf ball. But the brace and the hinges up there are in good shape. This is the hood that was on the car. This hood, that's off a 66, because the car says 66. This is off of a 64. And overall is in better shape. It does have a little bit of body damage down here that would need to be repaired and knocked out. A little bit of a low spot. You can see how the gap gets a little thicker right there, and a little bit right here too. But overall, it's not in bad shape. We got a few pinholes down here too. So, you know, it's not perfect, but it's better than the original. The 64 is different in the fact that it has different bracing on the bottom here, and the bracing up top for the hinges is in horrible shape. So I think we need to steal that from the 66, put it onto the 64. Dale, what do you like? I know that purists are gonna hate you for your car. But you're excited about putting a 64 deck lid on a 66. Tell us why.
Yeah, you know, I mean, in the end, this car has had its own history. So I am not taking something that's some kind of, you know, major original survivor car with...
We did pull it out of a museum to turn into a parts car.
It's had its own issues. And I've always liked the T-handle. There's aspects... Really, I would love to own about 10 different Volkswagens. I'm going to turn this one into the one I want, which has the parts that I like. And 64 was the last year of a T-handle, which is why it has the extra bracing and it's not a push button. So everything else about this is the same. The way that the lines on here and whatnot, but they switched it in 64 from a T-handle to a push button, which then they continued through the rest of its run. So
you like the vintage look, the older look of the T-handle.
You know, in the end, there's a few things that eventually when we get finished with this that are going to be, it's going to be like a 66 with 6 or 7 things wrong with it. And that's one of the things that I want to keep more like the early 60s as opposed to the mid-late and on.
So the wrong things, are they things that you're like, well, this is just what we had, so we're using it? Or are they, in your mind, things you're nostalgic and attracted to that you want to incorporate into yours?
Yeah, it's the second. So
okay.
I definitely, it's things that I've always kind of liked, and knowing that I'm going to only own one of these things, that's, you know, I wanted to do that. So that was one of my original deals, even when we didn't know how bad this one was, and I didn't really realize. I just knew, oh, if we could, I'd love to get rid of the push button and turn it into the T-handle. I realize now why that's really hard to do, because this doesn't have the brace. And so I'm really thankful to have that 64, and it turns out to really be a better shell.
Awesome. All right, well, I need to get to work on taking that brace off, and I'm gonna start by throwing it on the carpet on the floor here and drilling out spot welds. So we're going to drill out the spot welds. I'm going to try to keep as much of the brace in good condition. The holes that I drill out the spot welds will become my holes to do plug welds. And then we'll take this and move it over to the other deck lid. All right, time to get to work. So I got the brace off, the hinge brace. You can see from the video, I used a drill. I will clean these up, and these will also, some of them I might weld to try to close that, but some of these will become my plug welds as I reattach it. So I tried to keep this in the best shape I can. My next task is to basically do the exact same thing to the Beetle, the 64 deck lid that we want to keep. So in this one, I want to keep the deck lid sheet metal in good shape. I don't care about the brace, which was the opposite in the other one. So instead of using a drill, I'm going to use my Harbor Freight Baxter little air drive belt sander, and I'm going to sand through the top of the spot welds, making sure I don't go into the deck lid, and try to separate the two that way. As you go through the top layer, you can see the color change. It turns blue as it gets hot as you get down to the last little bit of the top layer. And I'll probably try to not even take the whole top layer off and then pop it off with the chisel. So you get to do it again. Say hi.
Are you recording?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I'm busy working while you're recording, that's all.
Hey, it is Tuesday night. We're back working in the garage again. Tonight we are working on the deck lid. The deck lid is the project next on our list. Let me tip the camera down here. So this is the deck lid off the 64. Previously you saw us take this brace out. One of our tasks is going to be to put the brace in, but we also need to kind of carefully set the curve of this as we clamp it and spot weld it in. The second task is we need to take this brace. Was it a brace? We'll call it a brace.
Support piece.
We're going to take the support piece out. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 12 spot welds holding it in. We need to put it back in when we're done, so we want to very, very carefully remove that. But I'm going to flip the camera around a second. Inside here, you can see that there is a little bit of Swiss cheese in there, which also lines up with, oh, there goes the brace, some pinhole rust on the lower nose of it. So our task tonight is to figure out how do we get this brace in. Probably just a couple welds and then test fit it. So if we have to take it back off and mess with this curve, we can. And then get this brace off, and then we need a plan for how we're gonna tackle that rust. We do not have a plan for that yet. So, time to get to work. We had a bunch of screw holes in the backside of the Beetle from where carpet was put in that we tack welded shut, and Dale's cleaning those up. So we're gonna wrap that up while we get started here. Let's get to it. As you can see, I was getting ready cleaning this to spray it with weld-through primer, and I realized there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 holes in the deck lid right here that somebody had drilled to pull out a dent. Now Dale I'm saying this out loud. Dale did a fantastic job with a hammer and a dolly.
Who did a great job?
Dale did a great job. It really did. I'm utterly shocked that Dale did a good job.
Thanks, Doug.
You love you, Dale. Getting this dent out. So I'm going to use a copper backing plate behind this and weld these holes shut before we spray this with weld-through primer and work on putting the brace back in. So next job is to fill those. Putting the copper backing plate on just to help absorb a little bit of the heat, and it also helps it to not blow through. And it just is a little bit easier to weld up a hole without dumping too much heat into the deck lid because I don't want to warp it. So the weld-through primer is in, the brace is clamped in. We have a strap that we're running around the whole deck lid to kind of pull it into this arch. And we don't know exactly what the arch is supposed to be yet. So our plan is we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4 plug welds. Take these clamps off, and then we're gonna try to put the deck lid on the car. So we are getting the hinges on. We found a spot there that was cracked that we welded up. And then we're gonna try to leave this strap on to see if we can actually, sorry, I keep turning around, adjust the curve of the deck lid to make sure it matches this trim piece. And once we have the curve right, then we'll do more of these plug welds along the way. So I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4 plug welds. We think that that's enough to hold it in place while we fit it, but yet also not too many so that if we have to grind it back off again, we can. Bless you. Bless you. This would be a challenge by yourself.
Yeah, well, and this is,
It's gonna be a challenge with 2 grown men.
okay, now you gotta let me guide it here.
I have to let you be in control.
I think you do.
I'm having control issues.
I took off and put on the deck when I redid my whole engine business. That was Hendrick Restoration 1.0.
Oh, that's right.
And it was a little frightening, but I said to myself, I don't care about the paint job because I'm getting a new one. All right. Woo. Woo. Catching braces, catching on that. Oh, it's catching on the strap. because the strap goes straight across. You can't. I mean, we can kind of see whether or not it's
Kind of hoping that the strap will flex. But it's pushing the whole thing out, isn't it? So this strap was a genius idea. That doesn't work. It hits the strap interferes right here on the side. So we're going to take the strap off and just work on getting the hinges adjusted to the right size, or getting the hinges adjusted to the right place, so that we can see a little better how it fits. We don't really know yet how we're going to set that curve. So we got a little figuring to do yet, but we know our next step is to adjust the hinges and get the hinges closer. So we're going to do that, and we'll figure out the next step after that.